here. Finally, I only been complaining. This is what, number 9 or 10? Average Joe Walks. So hope you guys like. I just uploaded a new video, and it's on herniated neck disc issues. And the focus really of that is getting you guys to understand when to and when not to worry about disc issues. And so hopefully you shouldn't have to worry. You shouldn't, anyways, for the most part. So I dropped it. Hope you guys will go ahead and just take a look at that, give you some good education, maybe share that out, go over some treatments with it also. I tagged a bunch of my old videos, probably like 3 or 4 of them that are specific to that, and really go over some of the mistakes that some people have and what they do when they do hurt their neck and herniate it a little bit. So, hey, so hopefully you guys get an understanding of that piece of it. So, what's really important is the initial awareness of having a neck problem or not. Hey, how you doing, David? I was just looking at your stuff, and it's been a while. I think the last time you posted, I think it was like a year ago. Come on, David. You gotta post more than that. What do they say? Consistency. Hey, Joe. Sitting on the beach and saw your live. Well, good for you sitting on the beach. I'm not going to the beach to the end of the month. It's really hot here when you go to the beach. That sand will burn those tootsies real good. Well, like I said, I dropped a new video on neck issues. I'm really focusing on the neck and shoulder, probably over the next month. You do a lot with that neck and shoulder. There are so many different things that can go on, things that you need to focus on in regards to the neck and shoulder. And the treatments are all specific to that. So depending on if you look at my first video on the shoulder and the neck, kind of give you an idea where to target your issues after that. Whether you need to focus on your shoulder and the shoulder segments that I have, or the neck and the neck segments that I've completed in the past, and also updating and adding some new information on this end. So my next video, I'm probably gonna do probably facet joint in the neck, because usually one of 3 things. It's either a disc, facet joint, or just some sort of like muscle imbalance going on. Whether it's you pull the muscle or you over fatigue the muscle in the neck and it's giving you headaches, giving you TMJ, temporomandibular joint problems, or it could give, if your headaches are bad enough, or if your neck pain is bad enough, it can give you vertigo, which feels like the room is spinning. So it doesn't have to actually be positional vertigo, or what we call BPPV. It can actually be coming from your neck. So that's one thing that people have to rule out. So I think there's really that state. So I think my next video is going to be on that. And there is really some good treatments that you can do between the disc problem I just showed you guys, this video I dropped, the next video on facet joints that I make, and I think I made one in the past a couple of years ago, but needs to be updated, and the muscle imbalance. I mean, if you have a neck problem, it's one of those 3 things. I mean, rarely is it something else that it's like, probably 5 or 7% of people have another problem in their neck besides the big 3 that I'm talking about. So, you see these. What kind of pillow do I recommend? Well, sure the heck ain't that magic pillow nonsense or Mr. Pillow or whatever that hoopla was. You know, you have all these pillows that talk about conformity. Here's the first problem with any product is they're trying to make it universal to the masses, and your neck problem is the same as my problem and your postural alignment and stuff like that in regards to getting the right pillow for your problem. Your pillow, my pillow isn't going to be the same. But I did show in an old video, if you make sure that you're not using the pillow back where my hand is at, that's pushing your neck forwards, and you take the pillow and you put it down at the mid part of your lower part of your neck, your upper part of your back. Magic, yeah, right. You put that pillow there. What I do is I tell people take one pillow and put it like this way, and one pillow to put it like that way, like a upside down V, and that's where that center point of the letter V you put at the base of your head, and then the one pillow is on one shoulder and one pillow is on the other shoulder. That shows you that V, and that'll give you nice displacement of your neck, because that's what you're missing with all those products is displacement of the pressure in your neck, and it needs to go to your shoulder blades in your upper back so that you're not causing that pivot point in your neck, which is giving you the pain. Classically, people who have neck and shoulder pain, they feel more comfortable sleeping in a recliner chair, and the reason for that is that recliner chair automatically simulates what those pillows are doing. You know, it kind of puts your upper back and your neck all in one plane of motion, so that there's really no pivot point between your neck and your upper back. So, oh, you're welcome. Hey, how you doing there, Bonnie Rose? Hi, Bonnie Rose. It's been a while. So, so yeah, that's the thing with a pillow. I mean, that guy. I think that guy didn't he get sued, that pillow guy or something like that? And he was trying to make another product. Anyways, so yes, um, so it's one of those three things. The neck one that herniated disc I just dropped, the facet joint that I'm gonna make again, update it, and then the muscle imbalance one I'm gonna make. You know that muscle imbalance you always see like a chiropractic video or physical therapy. They have the person way out like that, and they're like, oh, let's do some chin tucks, and all of a sudden their neck pain is gone. Bunch of hoo-ha, bunch of nonsense. Anybody's neck that's far forwards in their joint, okay, in that neck, and those little bones in your neck, they are so close together, and they're not supposed to be. And they've shifted so much forwards, that's why your head's way forwards, all right, and it's kind of stuck there. That's usually from either rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, or osteoarthritis. What's happened over time, it's made those joints move forwards, and it started to fuse them or partially fuse them, what they call congenital fusing of those joints. And so their head is stuck forwards. Now you can get some movement of the upper back to help that, but it isn't going to be what you see where all of a sudden they have perfect alignment like mine does. It doesn't work that way. Once those joints are kind of stuck in that position, you know, or really bad scoliosis. If a person has a really bad upper scoliosis and then you put RA on top of it, you're not going to get that alignment. I mean, you're going to get some improvement, but nothing like they show on the internet where they go from damn near crippled to all of a sudden they got perfect alignment. And I'm like, yeah, there is some doctoring going on in those videos. And unfortunately, it gives people a false sense of hope that really have those problems. And it's a shame, because then they're like, you know, they either go to a chiropractor or a physical therapist, and they're actually probably really good, but they've looked at all these videos and stuff, and like, well, why didn't my outcome be like that? And so they just have this false sense, and they're probably a really good chiropractor, physical therapist that they went and saw, and then they're bashing the snot out of them, and it's like they lied to you on the internet. You know, I don't know how they did it, but you know, they showed someone all crippled up falsely, and then all of a sudden they do all these snap, crackle, and pops, and all of a sudden, amazingly enough, your alignment's good. So yes. So, and I would categorize that as my third video, which is muscle imbalance. When you're talking about some sort of scoliosis, or if you're talking about rheumatoid or osteo or psoriatic arthritis of some sort, you can work on some of the muscles to hopefully help reduce some of the pain, improve the alignment a little bit. Now, they got all kinds of braces out there. I'm not a big fan of braces either. Oh, thank you for sharing me out. That'd be nice. Thank you, Bonnie Rose. The problem is with braces is if you don't use it, you lose it. Short-term bracing is fine, whether that's bracing a knee, a back, a shoulder, or in this case, an upper body postural thing. A lot of times they have these new ones and straps and they kind of pull your chest back and they open you up a bit. Two problems with that. Problem number one, if you naturally have very tight muscles and tendons and ligaments in your chest area, in the front of your chest, and all of a sudden you just start gently pulling them back and holding them back for a period of time, you're not only going to have pain in your chest because you've overstretched it for a long time, but you have nerves in your upper chest that come out from your neck up in your hand. It's called your brachial plexus. And you can actually overstretch it, because it's going to get inflamed because it's been naturally in a shortened position for so long. And all of a sudden you start getting those braces that stretch your chest out. And you ain't used to being stretched out like that. You can really mess yourself up. Next thing you know, you have numbness in your hand, tingling, buzzy. And it's just because you overstretched your brachial plexus, which makes up your brachial nerve, your muscles, your radial nerve, your ulnar nerve. So the main nerves coming out from your neck dive underneath your collarbone, clavicle, and come out and make up your hand. They all get inflamed quick when they've been in a shortened position for years, months, I don't know. So that's the first problem with the straps, or bracing in general. Second problem is what I alluded to earlier. If you don't use it, you lose it. What I mean by that is if a brace is supporting you for long periods of time, your muscles are going to adapt to that extra support, and they're going to get used to that. And when you take the brace off, you're going to feel like whoa, like you're I don't know, like you're weak, not really weaker, maybe a little bit, but you lose that what we call external stability coming from the brace, which is not what you want. So there's that muscle piece, but there's also a sensory piece because you've gotten used to that compression or that pulling from something artificial. And when you let go of that, your body has a hard time. What I mean by that is your nervous system, your muscles contracting and having what we call resting tone, which is what we all have, unless you're paralyzed. That gets affected, and now you just feel, I don't know, you feel unstable or weak, or people have 1,000 different reasons for it. But I'm sorry about the wind. The wind's probably coming terrible through this mic and my earbuds, but sorry about that. But yeah, those are the two real reasons why short-term bracing's fine if it's an injury or you're doing a sporting event where you have a bad knee, you need the external stability a little bit. But you don't want to do that for any prolonged period of time. Hi! Oh, you're a killer dog, killer dog. Uh, so yeah, that's how I'm not a big fan of any bracing like what you would buy and what you see on Amazon or something like that. Buy this for $19.99 and this will help improve your posture and this and that and the other thing. It's showing some ridiculously fit person to begin with that like never needed that brace or that item. It's kind of like those E-stim machines that they had for the stomach that you start to see come back a little bit. it's got some person with rock hard abs already, and they're putting that electrodes on their stomach, and they're getting it to contract. Wrong. It doesn't work that way. You for that thing to actually work for you or me, we'd have to have. I'm gonna turn around because that's too loud. You'd have to have some sort of significant amount of weakness, whether it's from some sort of injury or some sort of illness, um, and or surgery, then and only then that type of electrical stim, which is called high volt galvanic stim, that type of electrical stim is only going to work for that population. Yes, the science is there, but it's only there for a small group of people. So that's another thing that you see, and it went away probably 10 or 15 years ago. It was out there, and then they got sued, and so they took it off the market. And now, of course, they brought it back again. Where excuse me, whether it's coming from China or whether they've reworded it the way they're allowed to advertise it. But there's still the premise of like, oh yeah, if I put this thing on, I only use it so many hours out of the day, I'm just gonna have some rock hard abs. Well, excuse me, I'm sorry. The only way that you have rock hard abs is two things: exercise and diet. And diet is the son of a gun when you want to show those abs off, because that's the last thing that comes off the human body is abdominal fat. It's the first thing to go on, and it's the last thing to come off. The last thing to go on is like facial fat, and the first thing to come off is facial fat. So that's why everybody starts to look good when they start to lose weight, because one of the first things that comes off the body is facial fat. But abdominal fat, forget it. I mean, you can do it, but 6, 8 months, a year. I mean, just look at some of those. Well, some of those actors that's out there, and they got to look great for a porn. I mean, they started working out 8 months, a year before they even started shooting those movies to look like that. So, bye. See you, David. So, it's absurd to think that, any of these products out there, whether it's a strap, a brace, electrical current, it's really going to do anything remotely like they are showing that person, on the TV set, the results or outcomes that they're getting there. So anyways, hello. So, anyways, let's talk about a horror story. So, physical therapy horror story. Uno dos. Oh, dos is two, so let's start with one. So, probably 4 or 5 years ago now, I was doing inpatient, and I was in the patient's room, and it's one of those times where Joe put his foot in his mouth. He hasn't done it in a long time, but he did it this day. So I'm in the patient's room. Patient's room is a guy. He's probably in his 60s at least. 61, 62, I think he was. And the girl in the room looked to be about his daughter. So come to find out, I was completely wrong. So I said, "Oh, I said, hi, is this your family member? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Is this your daughter? This isn't my daughter. This is my wife." And so on and so forth. And just explicit and that swear word. And it was pretty ridiculous. The guy, obviously, he was kind of, I mean, he was completely alert and oriented. It had nothing to do with his mental capacity. It had to do with his attitude and the fact that, and I was as gracious as humanly possible and as nice as I possibly could be, and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I realize, uh, my mistake, so on and so forth. And, oh, I want to talk to your supervisor." And I'm like, "Okay, well, can we go ahead and do the evaluation at least, and then we'll go ahead and resolve this other piece later." So I won the guy over towards the end, and he didn't have to see my supervisor, but that's the horror story you don't even realize, And obviously, from his standpoint, he's probably been, told this 1,000 times that, oh, she's kind of young for you, and of course he was probably defensive about it. And then I come in, I didn't say anything about that. I just figured it was his daughter, since she looked about 30 and he was twice her age. It's it's a simple mistake. You know, most people don't marry someone who's 30 years older than them. I mean, what's the comparison? What's the association? I can't imagine marrying someone 30 years younger than me, 30 years older than me. P6. Not even the same part of your life as. Anyways, don't let me get on that bandwagon. To each their own. But anyways, uh, it, it, that was the horror story, and you know, of course, I had to go back and see the patient a few more times afterwards, and you know, of course, she was there the whole time. It's like never left the guy's side. It's like holy cow. So maybe she was the controlling one. I don't know. If it was me, I'd be like, hey, vacation. So hard to tell. So so yeah, that's my horror story for the day, and it's not a bad one. I've had worse. I mean, I've done that a few times. One where I thought it was a guy and you want to be called the Pearl. I've had that before, but they were nice about it because they saw how innocent and completely I was caught off guard by it. So they were cool about that. They weren't jerks about it. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go this time around. I want you guys thanks for sticking around for my walk, and hopefully take a look at my videos and like and subscribe and share. And until next time, I always say look up and keep smiling. See you next time, folks.